Hello students, welcome to second part of maths for NEET Physics. So in this chapter or in this part we are going to discuss ratio, proportion and percentage. Ratio, proportion and percentage. So first we'll discuss ratio. Ratio. What is ratio? Before that we would like to discuss why this is so much important for physics because in physics you will use this many times. Whenever we have to compare two or more physical quantities, we have to convert unit, finding efficiency, error, change, or handling fractions. In all these things, we are going to use ratio, proportions, and fraction. Ratio, proportion, and percentage. So let's start with ratio. What is ratio? A ratio is compares two quantities. So ratio is comparison between two quantities. So whenever we have to compare between two quantities, we calculate their ratio. Like suppose that one quantity we have A and other quantity we have B. So ratio of A is to B will be written as A by B, or it is also written as A is to B. If this ratio is suppose that R. If R is greater than 1, then A is greater than B. If R is less than 1, then we can say A is less than B. So ratio will compare two quantities. Ratio will compare two quantities. Simple. Nothing is there in this ratio. Like suppose that we have a question. We have two cars and both car. First car is moving with 40 kilometer per hour and second car is moving with 60 kilometer per hour. 60 kilometer per hour. So what will be the ratio of first car speed to second car speed? So it will be 40 by 60 and this will be 2 is to 3. One thing is very important here. Ratio will not gives us absolute value of quantity. Like if somebody gives you this data that v1 is to v2 is equal to 2 is to 3, you cannot find speed of car from this value. You can only compare the speed of these two cars. You can say that car 2 is moving with more speed than car 1, but we cannot say what is the exact speed of car 2 or car 1. So ratio will only gives us comparison, not absolute value. Clear? Okay. After this, next thing is proportion. Like here we have a question from physics. Two wires have resistance R1 and R2, 2 is to 3. So they are saying resistance of two wire. I hope you all have seen this question in class 10th electricity. So resistance of two wire is R1 by R2. Now they are asking if current through wire 1 is 6 ampere. They are saying that current through wire 1 is 6 ampere, or current through first wire is 6 ampere, means I1 they have given as 6 ampere. So here we have to use ratio. So ratio of resistance is 2 by 3, and in current electricity class 10th you all have studied that ratio of current is reciprocal of ratio of resistance. So R1 by R2 will be equal to I2 by I1, reciprocal. So we can write R1 by R2, which is 2 by 3, is equal to I2 by I1. I2 is unknown and I1 is given 6. So when we will solve this, we will get I2 is equal to 4 ampere. So using ratio, we can find the current flowing in this from this resistor. So we have two resistors, their ratio is 2 is to 3. So current ratio should be 3 is to 2. Ratio of current should be 3 is to 2. We can even directly write I2 I1 by I2. If ratio of resistance is 2 is to 3, ratio of current will be 3 is to 2. So 3. Now if we put the value of I1 as 6, we'll get I2 as 4. So this is how we will use ratio. Now little Complicated version of ratio is proportion. Second part is proportion. Proportion. So proportion is actually when we have two ratio. Two ratio. Just like ratio is defined for two quantities, proportion is defined for two ratio. So we can say ratio of ratio is called proportion. So two ratio are proportional or just proportion if suppose that we have one ratio a by b, like one ratio is a by b and another ratio is c by d. If these two ratio are equal, then we'll call they are proportional. Here we have to understand that their absolute value is not equal. Like suppose that I am saying a car is moving with some velocity at time t1. Velocity of car is 40 meter per second, and at time t2 velocity of car became 60 meter per second. So car 1 and second car is moving with some velocity at t1 as 80 meter per second, and velocity at t2 of the second car is 120 meter per second. So if you calculate the ratio of velocity at t1, so v1 at t1 and y v2 t2 will be 40 by 80 is equal to 1 by 2. Similarly, when we look calculate velocity of car 2 at car 1 at t2 divided by car 2 at t2, so this will also we will get 1 by 2. So same is the ratio for velocity of car 1 at t2 by velocity of car 2 at t2. So velocities are proportional. So we can write v1 t1 by v2 t1, this is t1 not t2, is equal to v1 t2 by v2 t2. So velocities are proportional. This is called proportion. When two ratios are equal, we call that proportional. And whenever they are equal, like a by b is equal to c by d, so this can be written as a is to b. We will not put equal to sign. We have to put here proportional sign, and this is called proportionality sign. C is to D, and this is very important by the physics perspective, and we use it at many times. We'll use this theory to solve some problem. Before that, this a by b is equal to c by d can be written as a cross multiplication ad is equal to bc, or it can be written as a by c is equal to b by d, which will become a is to c, b is to d. So what you observe, these two can be interchanged. A is to B proportional C is to D, or A is to C proportional B is to D. So these two internal terms can be exchanged. The proportional remains same. A is to B proportional C is to D is same as A is to C proportional D is to D. In physics, we will use it at many times. Like I'll show you an example. You all have studied in class 9th that force is directly proportional to M. What does it mean? It means that F1 by F2 is equal to M1 by M2. This is called directly proportional. This is called directly proportional. When one quantity is directly proportional to other quantity, then if you take ratio of the first quantity at any two instant and ratio of the other quantity at the same two instant, then you are going to get same ratio. So f1 by f2 is equal to m1 by f2. This is called directly proportional. In the same way, we have one more type of proportionality which is called inversely proportional. Inversely proportional. Inversely proportional. For example, suppose that we say y varies 1 by x. Here also x, this is also proportionality sign, this one. F varies m, so f1 by f2 is equal to m1 by m2. Similarly, here y varies 1 by x. It means y1 by y2 is equal to x2 by x1. Like they are inversely proportional. If you remember the current and resistance, so we can say current is inversely proportional to resistance. That's why R1 by R2 is equal to I2 by I1. So current and resistance both are inversely proportional to each other. That's why R1 by R2 is equal to I2 by I1. You will find many these types of example in physics, like time is inversely proportional to 1 by inversely proportional to velocity. That's why I write v1 by v2 is equal to t2 by t1, t2 by t1. So you will find these types of thing many at many places. So I hope ratio and proportion is clear. What is ratio? Comparison between two quantities. What is proportion? When two ratios are equal, we call that directly proportional. And when two ratios are reciprocal of each other, we call that inversely proportional. So this is all about ratio and proportional. We would like to discuss one more theory here, that is called componendo dividend. COMPONENDO. Componendo. This is called componendo. So suppose that we have a ratio A proportion A by B is equal to C by D. Suppose that we add both side 1. So we'll get A by B plus 1 is equal to C by D plus 1. No change. Why add? We have added 1 to both sides. So now it will become A plus B divided by B is equal to C plus D divided by D. Now suppose that we subtract 1 on both sides. So we'll get A by B minus 1 is equal to C by D minus 1. So from this we'll get A minus B by B is equal to C minus D by D. Call this equation number 1 and call this equation number 2 and divide equation number 1 divided by equation number 2. What you will get? So A plus B by B divided by A minus B by B. This will become A plus B by A minus B and is equal to C plus D by C minus D. So if A by B is equal to C by D, then A plus B by A minus B is equal to C plus D by C minus D. This is also true. So if this is true, this will also be true. Clear? So this is called componendo and dividendo. D-I-V-I-D-E-N-D-O. This, when we have added one, so equation number 1 is according to componendo and equation 2 is equal to, is called dividendo. And when we combine these two, we get A plus B by A minus B is equal to C plus D by C minus D. This is called componendo dividendo. In short, we call CD. We can reverse it too. So A minus B by A plus B will also be equal to C minus D by C plus D. Let's see some example, real-time example. So suppose that we have one ratio 1 by 2 is equal to 3 by 6. Let's try to use this. So first we'll use componendo. So componendo will do, then we'll get 1 plus 2, 3 by 2 is equal to 6 plus 3, 9 by 6. Is it correct? Yes. 3 by 2. If we divide this by 3, we'll get 3 by 2. And if we use dividendo, what we are going to get? 1 by 2 minus 1. So we'll get minus 1 by 2 is equal to 3 by 6 minus 1. So minus 3 by 6. Minus minus cancel. We'll get 1 by 2 is equal to 3 by 6. Same thing we are going to get. And if we divide these two, so we'll get 3 CD when we'll apply both. So it means equation 1 divided by equation 2. So we'll get 3 by 1 is equal to 9 by 3. You can see this ratio is also equal, 1 is to 1. So this is called componendo dividendo. So we have applied here componendo and dividendo. What we have to remember in this, that ratio should be equal. If ratio are not equal, we cannot use componendo dividendo. 1 by 2 is equal to 3 by 6. Only then we are able to use componendo and dividendo. If they are not equal, we cannot use. So we have studied about ratio, we have studied about proportion. Now we are going to study about percentage. Our third topic is percentage. So what is percentage? So percentage is defined as any change in any quantity divided by the original quantity q multiplied by the 100. So suppose that we have any quantity q, it changed from q to q either plus or minus delta q, means our quantity have either increased by delta q or decreased by delta q, both are same. So change is delta q divided by whole quantity, the original quantity q multiplied by 100. Many times students do mistake here. This q will always be original quantity. It is not changed quantity, it is original quantity from where we have started. So delta q by q is into 100. Or we can say fraction delta q by q is fractional change, fraction multiplied by 100. So here this will be used in many places like calculating efficiency. In physics, many places we have to calculate efficiency. Or sometimes question will be asked, what will be the change? Like if you have solved some question in class 9th, like if any quantity, if velocity of a particle is increased by 10%, what will be the resultant change in its kinetic energy? So we'll try to solve 3-4 types of problem too, which will involve percentage. But before that, just we'll explain what is percentage. So suppose that we have a shirt whose price increased by 10% and then decreased by 10%. Suppose that we have a shirt whose price increased by 10% and decreased by 10%. So what is the net change, percentage change in the shirt? So whenever these types of problem is asked, always assume that initial price of shirt, selling price of initial shirt, initial selling price of the shirt is 100 rupees. Now 10% increase, price is increased by 10%. So when price will be increased by 10%, 10% of 100 is 10. So now new selling price will become 110. Now what happened? Now price have decreased by 10%. So now 10% of 110 is 11 rupees. So now selling price will become 99. Now they are asking what is the net percentage change. So what is the net percentage change from here to here? The change in selling price is 1. So percentage change will be 1 by original price 100 multiplied by 100 is equal to 1%. So how we proceed in this question? First selling price was 100 rupees. Then shirt price increased by 10%. So now it will become 110 rupees. Now it is decreased by 10%. So it will decrease from 110. It will not decrease from 100. So now shirt price decreased by 10%. So it will become 99. Like suppose that some people invest in stock market. So suppose that you invested 100 rupees and you gained 50%. Your profit is 50%. So your now wealth will become 150 rupees. Let's discuss. Suppose that investment is 100 rupees. Now profit is equal to 50%. So now your wealth is how much? 100 plus 50%, 150 rupees. Now suppose that you lost 50%. So now you will not lose 50% of 100. Now your investment became 150 rupees. Now if you lost 50%, you will lose 75 rupees. So now rest amount will be 50% lost of 150, which is 75. So now you will only have 75 rupees, not 50 rupees. So your price, your investment increased by 50% and then decreased by 50%. So now net you have 25 rupees loss. So percentage loss will be 25 by 100 into 100 is equal to 25. Means you lost your 25% capital. Clear? You lost your 25% capital. Like here we have taken a question. Speed of a car increased by 25%. Find percentage decrease in time for same distance. So they are saying that suppose that initially speed was v. Now speed increased by 25%. So whenever speed increases by 25%, always remember new speed will become 1.25 times. If it increases by 10%, it will become 1.1 because 25% is equivalent to 0.25. So if it has increased by 25%, means it is increased by 0.25. So it was 1, now increased by 0.25. So it will become 1.25 V. So initial velocity was v, now it became 1.25 v. Now suppose that distance is d, so initial time was dy v, and now new time will be dy 1.25 v, 1.25, which 1.25 can be written as 5 by 4. So we can write it 4d by 5v. This is the time, this is the time. Now they are asking why find percentage decrease in the time. So this is t1 and this is t2. So what will be delta t? See, delta t will be dy v minus 4 dy v, 5v. So 1 minus 4 by 5 is equal to 1 by 5. So dy 5v. This is change in time. Now we want to calculate percentage change in time. So it will be change, that is dy 5v. Divide by original. Original was t. This is the original time. So our original time was dy v. So d and v and multiplied by 100. So vd cancel. It will be 20%. So if speed of car increases by 25%, see, we have discussed time varies 1 by v, but it doesn't mean that if speed of car increases by 25%, then its time period will decrease by 25%. No, it decreases only by 20%. It decreases by 20%. So always be careful while dealing with percentage. Here we have taken one more question. Density of a cube increases by 2%. Find percentage change in mass. So he is saying that suppose initial density was rho. Now 2%. 2% is equivalent to not 0.2. 0.2 is equivalent to 20%. So this is 2%. Means new density will become 1.02. 2% is equivalent to 0.02. Now this is a new density. So he's saying find percentage change in mass if volume is constant. Suppose that volume is V. So mass will be, we all know mass is rho into V. So here it will be rho into V. And new mass will be 1.02 rho into V. Now what is the change? So we can clearly say change in mass is equal to this minus this. So it will be 0.2, 0.02 rho V. So percentage change in mass will be 0.02 rho into V divided by original. What is the original value here? Rho V. This is the mass. So rho into V and multiplied by 100. So it will be 2%. So what did you observe? When both quantities are linearly related, linearly dependent, means here mass is equal to density into volume. So if volume is constant, mass is directly proportional to density. So if two quantities are directly proportional to each other, then change will be same. Percentage change in density will be equal to percentage change in mass. But if they are inversely proportional, they will not be equal. Always remember this line. If two quantities are directly proportional to the power 1, it's not like if m varies rho to the power 2, then they will not be equal. But if m varies rho, m to the power 1 varies rho to the power 1, or if we can write this statement too, if a to the power 1 varies b to the power 1, then percentage change in a is equal to percentage change in b. But clear? I hope you all will remember. Now suppose that if a varies b square, then a varies b square and b changes by suppose that 10%. Then see, initially b was b. Now if it increases or decreases, suppose increases by 10%, it will become 1.1 b. So what will be the change in a? Suppose that we take constant here as 1, so we can write a is equal to b square. You all know when we remove proportionality sign, we apply a constant. So suppose that for simplicity we are taking that constant as 1, so a is equal to b square. So here b is equal to 1.1 b, and initially a was a. So now what will be b? B is square. So initially a was a, which was equal to, we can write b square. Now what will be the value of a? The new a will be equal to 1.1 b square. which will be 1.21 b square. Now when we'll calculate change in A, it will be 1.21 b square minus b square is equal to 0.21 b square. When we'll calculate percentage change, it will be 0.21 b square divided by original value of A. We are calculating change in A, so we'll take original value of A, which is b square, and multiplied by 100 is equal to 21%. So it will change by 21%. But for short, we can remember that A versus b to the power n, then if b changes by x%, then A changes by n x%. But it is not correct, approximately correct. Like in this case, you can see b changes by 10% and b is square, so A should change by 20%, but actually it will change by 21%, but approximately 20 21 are same. So we can say in physics we take this: if A varies b to the power n and b changes by x%, then A will change by n to the n into x%. Approximately this is true, not 100% correct. Let's solve some more questions. Okay, let's take one more case we'll study, that is called successive percentage. Successive percentage. Suppose that we have any if any value changes by, increases or decreases, changes by first a percent and then b percent. It means first it will change by a%. After a% change, the new quantity will not remain same. Now original will be changed quantity. So suppose that initially we have 100 and it changed by 10%. So it will become 110. Now 110 will change by b%. So first, if any quantity changes by a%, then by b%. So what will be the net change? So net change will not be equal to a plus b%, because b% changed on changed quantity, a% changed on initial quantity. I'll take one numerical example too for this. So net change will be a plus b plus ab divided by 100%. Remember this: if any quantity changes by a%, then b%, then net change will be a plus b plus ab by 100%. So let's take an example. Suppose that we have 100 rupees. It increases by 10% plus 10% increase. So now it will become 110. Now it increases by 10% more. So now it will become 121%. So using this formula, how will, here it again increases 10%. So how will be net change will be net change will be 10 plus 10 plus 10 into 10 divided by 100, which will be 21%. So we are verifying this equation. So whenever any, this is called successive percentage, means first quantity will change by some percentage, then changed quantity will change by some percent. We'll take some physics based examples, like one term in physics you will always see in NEET Physics, JEE Mains Physics, Advanced Physics, everywhere, is called efficiency. So what is efficiency? Suppose that in any engine we are giving input of 500 joule energy, 500 joule energy, and it is doing work of only 200 joule. It is doing work of 200 joule. So we want to calculate percentage efficiency of this engine. So how much work is done? How much part of work is done? So first of all, we have to calculate how much work is done. 200 joule. Total input was 500. So percentage efficiency is equal to work done, means 200 joule, and divided by 500 joule and multiplied by 100. So in these types of cases, what will be this? 20 cancel, 40%. What does it mean? It means that how much energy you will give to the system, 40% it will do work, 60% will be lost. Like in our engine, whatever energy we give, whatever fuel we give to the engine, all fuel is not converted into work done. Some fuel burned and heat energy is lost. Clear? I'll write something for quick calculation in NEET, like some quick calculation. If any quantity became 10%, 10% means divide by 10, divide by 10. 1% means divide by 100. These things will help you to do quick calculation. 50% means half. 25% means quarter. 70% can be written as 0.7 part. 33.3% means 1 by 3. 1 by 3. So these things were about ratio, proportion, and percentage. I'll try to upload one lecture daily. So do some practice from. I'm pasting some question here. Try to do some practice. So I am giving you some question. Please try to solve all these questions. And if you have any doubt related to these questions or any concept related to ratio, proportion, and percentage, or any other part of math, particularly for NEET students, you can contact me on Telegram. My channel link is given in the description, and we will upload all maths. These all are basic. I'm actually now I'm covering maths of 9th, 10th, 8th. After that, I'll cover maths of 11th, 12th too. Integration, differentiation, binomial theorem, whatever math is required in physics. I think it is going to be at least 50 to 55 lecture series. So whatever math is used in physics, I am going to upload all those maths. And being a physics teacher, I know where NEET students face difficulty. So be with us. We will completely clear all of your mathematics related problem in physics. Thank you. If you have any doubt in physics too, you can share with me on the Telegram.